Hi, good morning. Today is a beautiful morning here in Georgia. I told you I'll tell you tales of my father and the things that he did. My father was very funny. I am in my sitting room, and behind me I have two pictures of two cities that I love. One I have visited. You can see it's the Big Ben in London. The other one is on my bucket list. That is Paris. And you can see the tower there. I love traveling. I love cities. And it's interesting how much when you travel, you see so many things. And I've traveled a bit. But today I want to tell you about a story about my father and the interesting part about what he did. I grew up, as I told, I was the last born. And my mother's family were 9, the ones that I found when I was born, that were alive. Between my sister and me were 5 boys. So I grew up around boys. And anybody who knows when you grow up around boys, there are a lot of interesting things that happen. And the good thing about my brothers that I follow, I'm going to tell you a story about them. I followed my brother that I follow is called George, and the other one is called Steve. They were very protective of me, but because of being protective of me, they also took me on their Scrabbles. Thank you, Anne, and Dennis and Paresh. So wherever they went, I followed. They had to take care of me. So whatever they did, I did. Now, in our farm, we had some mangoes, and these mangoes were very, very interesting because there were some that branched, but there was this one tree that had the sweetest mango. It had the sweetest mango. And the branches were very, very fragile. So the story I'm going to tell you is how that mango tree was cut off by my dad. It was very interesting how, your father can be so protective of you that he can cut. It never got a lot of mangoes, but the few that grew on that tree, it was very, very straight. And so they would fall. But sometimes they would ripen and you'd look at them. But I want to connect this, as I told you, I'll always connect my story with the Word of God. In Mathew 21, verse 18 to verse 20, it says, when Jesus curses the fig tree. Early in the morning, as Jesus was on his way back to the city, he was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, he went up to it, but found nothing on it except leaves. Then he said to it, may you never bear fruit again. Immediately, the tree withered. When the disciples saw this, they were amazed. How did the fig tree wither so quickly? They asked. Now, to come back to my mango tree, it was interesting that I could climb all the trees, but this one nobody could climb because, remember, it was very thin. So I remember, I think I was around 7 or 8 years there. And so my brothers decided they're going to teach me how to climb this tree. Because one time we were very, very hungry, and my brothers decided that we have to get some mangoes. There were like about 4 or 5 of them. So you remember, it is me, my brother George, and Steve. Now, my mother and my dad were all somewhere else. My other siblings were not around. They were all grown up. So these, my brothers, we follow them. I follow them. And they tell me they are going to teach me how to climb this tree. And I'm very scared because I am young and I am little. And I'm thinking, this tree, when I remember now, it was like about 10, 10 to 12 feet before I hit the branches. Now, if you know a tree, like I think the tree I think that grows that straight is, like when you see a palm tree, just goes straight and then it has branches. This mango tree, for some reason, grew like that. It didn't have lower branches. It just grew, and all of a sudden, it branched there on the top. And over the years, it used to bear these beautiful mangoes, and they were very juicy. They were very sweet, and I came to realize later as I grew up, it was an apple mango tree. And so my brothers tell me this day that, they start teaching me slowly by slowly how to climb a tree. Growing up with boys, I have, I have shorts, I have bikers, I have, tights and trousers. They teach me slowly by slowly. Now, in this teaching me, I still had problems because sometimes I'd get scratched between my legs. And I would cry, and my brothers would really plead with me, and they would get some ointment. Now, this time, which was so funny, we kept trying climbing up the tree. I could never get the courage to go on top. And my brothers were like, they used to call me Cash, you have to really climb this tree. You are only hope, because they were like, those mangoes would fall the night. We had some Maasai watchmen, because where the shamba was, the farm was somewhere near urban. And people would come at night to steal. So rarely would maybe eat one mango in a season from this tree or two. And so we wanted to be partakers. That year, my brothers, that was the goal, that this year, these mangoes, nobody's going to eat. So they have to teach me how to climb this tree because it's not very big, it's fragile. They're afraid they will break it. So I'm the baby, I'm the little one, so I'm the one they're going to teach. You have to remember I'm not a boy, so I'm a girl. I am very courageous, and I really want to climb this tree because even me, I wanted to eat the mango tree. It was very sweet. And I loved my brothers, and they were always there for me. The people that you love, that they become part of you. So we go. I try time and time again. I climb 1 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet. I still get scratches between my legs, and that was not funny. It would sting, and the mangoes are ripening. But remember, when we started this thing, we started before the mangoes ripen, so that by the time they are ripe, I would have climbed on top and I would not be scared. I think it was in a period of, a few weekends. I think it was a period of 2-3 months. That's how diligent we were. My brothers wanted to make sure that when my parents were not away near that area, they would pull me and they would go and start telling me and encouraging me. And it was such exciting. It's like when you're doing this thing that is so wrong. If your mother or your father find you, it's going to be trouble. But for me, I wasn't scared of my dad. I was scared of my mom. My brothers were scared of both my dad and mom because they're like, here you're teaching the baby to climb a tree. If she falls, it's on you. Now me, I wanted to please my brothers, and I also wanted to learn to climb trees. I could climb trees, but this one was like the one that you hold your legs around it. So there was no way I was gonna climb this tree. And I was so scared, so scared, so scared. Now here comes the interesting part. I reach a point that I climb it halfway and I get down nicely. So we hear some ruffle and I get down very quickly. And because of getting down very quickly, I didn't hold very well. So I was really scratched badly and I'm like, and then my brother like, gosh, Carol, please. They're holding me and they're trying to make me not cry because I feel like crying. I'm actually bleeding. And then my father shows up and he's like, baby, why are you crying? I'm like, oh, I tell him some leaves entered my eyes. That was a lie. Then he looked at me and he asked us, what are you doing? And I answer back and I say, we are looking at the mango tree. to see and he says, you know very well that until those tree, the fruit become overripe, that's when they fall down. And he tells us, go away. And we say, okay, so we disperse. Now that has to take like another week or two for me to heal my legs. But now I'm courageous. Remember, I have reached already halfway. And, you know, so I am very, very, very sure that the next time we come, I will climb. Well, the next time comes and I climb all the way to the top. The mangoes are ripe by now. The mangoes are ripe. And my brothers are cheering me more on. And the Shamba boy is also, he was called Climate, he's cheering me on. He was from Uganda. I have a story for him. And so they are like, you know, they are telling me, take out the mangoes. There were about 10 mangoes. So I plucked them out. It was not a very big tree, but the branches were fragile. So it was only me, my brothers, boys are boys. They know which tree they can climb or not. So here I am plucking and bearing down and throwing them the mangoes. So my brothers, Steve and George, tell me now, calm down. And I'm like, no, there are two more. So I climb up and they are like screaming now, Cash, you're going to fall down in Kikuyu. Cash, you're going to fall down. That's how they called me. And I'm like, no, I'm already so determined. I think it was just the adrenaline. I'm here on this mango tree. And so on this mango tree, I'm like, I have to get these two because those were the fruits that were there. So they have a whole bag down there. I think they were about 13, 14 or something. But I am making sure that you're going to get all the mangoes from this. So I reach out, I climb a bit higher. Now the tree starts swaying. My brother starts screaming. When my brother starts screaming, because the tree is swaying, I'm holding on to my dear life. It's a very slim tree. Who comes running? My dad. My mother was not around. And my dad looks up and sees his baby up there. And for the first time, when I looked down, I could see my dad was lost for words. Remember, this tree is about, this time it has grown, I'm in the branches. So I think it's about now, it's, over the years it had grown. So it was like about 16, 14, 15 their feet. Remember, I'm only 7, 8 years. I'm a little girl. I wasn't even those children that grow tall when they're young. So I was kind of very tiny, very petite, and up in the tree. My dad looks at me, and I can see I'm looking down at him. I'm not even looking at my brothers. I'm looking at my dad because I'm like, finally, my savior has come. I don't know what my dad is going to do. And I am so scared because I think I'm going to fall down. I think I am, I don't know what is going to happen. And I'm scared. The tree is still swaying. So my dad tells me, put your hand back and look down and see the other branches around you that are strong and hold on to it. So I do that. I look down, I see some branches and I hold them to it. Now remember, this tree is fragile. And I'm so scared I'm gonna fall. My dad does not even want to take that risk that he can tell me to jump off and go. Because if I fall from there, his baby is gone. Just, anything happens. So my dad cannot climb up. My brothers cannot, nobody can climb up. So my brother, I can see they are scared. Just scared that I might fall, what my dad and mama is going to do to them. And it was so interesting that, the various expression when life happens and everybody is scared for you. I am scared for myself, but seeing my father kind of calms me. I'm like, If there's anybody I knew had my back was my dad. So I'm sure my father is gonna do something. So he keeps encouraging me to take a step back. And so I come to the trunk. Now, this trunk is now he tells me to go slowly. But I think because it was a very, very hot day, I still remember it was very, very hot. You know, the mangoes in our country, they bear fruit end of November, December, January. I think it was in January because it was very, very hot. In Kenya, it's hot in January, very hot. And I still know it was a Saturday because it was not a school day. So I am sweating. You know, I'm on top of the mango tree. So the sun has hit me. And this took a lot of minutes. It didn't take like, I think 20, it took a lot. So being scared, the adrenaline in my body, I'm sweating. My palms are sweaty. My body is sweaty. And my dad is encouraging me, baby, calm down slowly. And halfway, I start coming down how I was shown how to calm down a mango tree by my brothers. And my brothers encourage me. They just encourage me, Cash, you can do it. Cash, you can do it. And my dad does not say anything. His eyes are on me. And if there's any time I can tell you I've ever seen my dad paralyzed, I don't know whether it was fear or worry. He had no words, but he's like looking at me. My brothers are encouraging me, calm down, calm down. My dad is like, baby, you know, ikoroka kahora, you know, that's like in Kikuyu, baby, calm down slowly. I reach 3/4, my dad, they're like, I get stuck. For some reason, I feel my grip going. I'm halfway now. And I tell my dad, I can't calm down anymore. Where I am, nobody can reach me. Remember, it's Kenya. We don't have ladders, so nobody can have a ladder to come and, you know, put on the tree and get me down. So my dad is thinking what to do. And my brother are like, hold on tight, hold on tight. So I hold on tight to the tree. I am sweating. Guess what happens? I lose my grip. I come down on that tree. You can imagine my hands, they were scratched. My legs, it was a mess. By the time I get down, I am literally screaming because of the pain. My dad holds me. And there is a, what do you call it? There is a weed, which is, you know, that grows with crops and they take it out. When you plant beans and maize, it grows among, and it has things, it is, I don't know, it's black, it has some black things that stick to your clothes. Those from you from Kenya will know it's called meshege. But these leaves of that weed, if you put it on a wound, it's kind of like an antibiotic and a painkiller. So my brother screams at my brothers to go and get those leaves quickly. Now my dad is now, they bring back and they put it. I'm still in pain. Remember, my hands are open torn. Between my legs, because I came straight. I don't know what happened, but I came straight. So you can imagine from where I had some shorts. So from where my shorts are halfway my legs, I'm raw. I'm screaming. One of the reasons I'm screaming, I'm in pain. Secondly, is like if my dad today decides to beat anybody, it is not gonna be me. Because I've already suffered my punishment. He never beat me ever in his life. But I was sure today there's gonna be a beating. So I am screaming the loudest. My brothers, I can see tears falling their eyes as they bring these weed leaves with the shamba boy. And my dad is not talking. Now that's the scary part, because my dad was those people who talk. So my dad is not talking. And he's just putting, just crushing those leaves and then putting them on my wounds. And he holds me tight. And he starts, massaging my head and telling me, baby, stop crying. Stop crying. And he says for my brother to go and get me some water. And my brother goes and gets me some water. And I drink. My dad holds me. Now we're in the shamba. He's kneeling down. He's holding me. And that image, for me, when I looked at him, for some reason, my fears, my tears, my worries just disappeared. I even knew that nothing was going to happen to my brothers. Remember, they're my partners in crime. And I knew for some reason my dad might go after them. And my mom, I knew because of what I'd gone through, she's not going to touch me, baby, But I was scared for my brothers. But when I looked at his eyes and how he was holding me, I knew it was going to be okay. So my dad decides today's shamba, it was still in the afternoon, I think around 3 or 4, decides it's over. So we all go home. We had a house girl. She's told by my dad to wash me, and my dad, there's ointment in the house, he puts it on me. Now I'm being the baby, I'm given food and we sit and eat. My brothers disappear, chang. They come back later after my mom has come. My dad is not saying anything. He doesn't even say what has happened. My mother comes and finds my dad home early, and she's like, what happened? Something, because usually my dad would be talking, but this day he was quiet. He didn't say anything. My brother said, we had a good night. It's Sunday. The next day, we wake up to go to church. We used to go with my dad sometimes, most of the time. And we wake up, my dad is gone. And so we think, for me, I think I'm like, oh, he's just gone somewhere. So we come from church. We find my dad outside reading the daily newspaper, as he used to read the newspaper every day. And so we start talking and I ask him, why didn't you go with us to church? Where did you go to? And he looked at me and he said, I went to cut off the mango tree. So the mango tree was cut off. Knowing how many years a mango tree grows, how sweet this tree was. And I told my dad, why would you cut the mango tree? And my dad told me something that was so interesting. He says, anything that puts you at risk should not live if I have power to deal with it. So the mango tree was cut off because my dad, knowing me and knowing my brothers, knew the next year when the mangoes grew, would still climb that tree. And because it was still thin, I'm still the same person who would go. Now my dad is looking at it on a perspective, I could go up there and the tree would break and I could fall, get injured, break something, or even die. And when I think about that thing all these years, I thought that was great wisdom on my dad's part. Now the problem was, now my mother got to know about it because my dad had to tell her why he cut the tree in the shamba. So this tree was cut off because it never bore fruit again. And that's when I knew my dad went and even put that in case it ever shooted a branch, he didn't want that tree. He put salt, so it withered. So when we come to see that Jesus, and I'm thinking about this fig tree that he came to take something from it and it was withered, I didn't think that Jesus was expecting that fig tree to only have one fig tree. Remember, he was with his disciples. And I believe he got upset that he didn't have fruit because he was hungry. And I'm sure if he was hungry, that tells us even the disciples were hungry. So today I just want to let you know that that's how protective my father was of me, that he cut a mango tree on my behalf. So up to today, I know that a mango tree was cut off so that I would never climb on it. There were other mango trees. We still went on, eating and climbing them, but they had branches. They were not dangerous. So my dad didn't have a problem with me climbing mango trees. But this one, because he was sure I was the only one who could climb, he was not going to let a mango tree put his baby at risk. So this morning, I want to encourage you that there are things in life that God stops from happening in our lives. And remember, this was something that we had been doing for several months with my brothers, trying to climb this mango tree. And God sees the plans that you have in your head, the things that you want to do. And for some reason, he put it at an end. He raises that maybe desire from your heart for your spirit. If you saw that you were working with this person and it was dangerous, not healthy for you, he cuts off that friendship because of that influence. That's what God does. When you look back, you can see there are some friends who are cut off from your life. You didn't quarrel. Even now, you still love them. They still love you, but for some reason, you never get together. That's how our God is. He's so protective for us that he would do anything to keep us safe. So that is the tale of my father today, how the mango tree was cut off. And it was very scary for me and for my brothers. They didn't get a warning. They were told, do not put my baby at risk again. Whatever you do, your boys, go do it. But do not put it. And obviously that did not stop. I had boys. If you want to live with boys, you have to behave like them. So I used to behave like them, play like them, run like them, do all the things that they did. I wasn't a girly girl, I grew up around boys. So when you grow up around boys, you behave like them. But what my dad wanted my brothers to know, no matter what we did, my brothers would be careful. And actually from that time, they were careful, very careful. Because I think remember, we are all young. We are all children. I'm around 8. My other brother is like 12. The other one is like 14. They are teenagers. They were teens. So that's how the mango was cut off. And I believe that's why Jesus cast that fig tree, because he had an expectation that this fig tree will have something, even though it's a raw fig tree, that the disciples would feed from it. When I look at it, I think of it from that perspective. People think that Jesus cast it because it did not have a fruit for him to get. But if he was hungry, that means even the disciples were hungry. And so those are the things our God does for us. He can cast something. He can cut off something out of your life. A bad habit, may not be people, a bad habit that you have. And you never know it is gone until years you look back in the line and you wonder, what happened? That bad habit is gone because God loves us so much. He loves us so, so much that he will cut off everything that is in your life that can bring you harm, that trouble. So whether it is somewhere where you go, whether it is a friend, even family. There are some families you can even get disconnected from. And their family, this is your bad bloodline. But because When God looks at you, he knows you getting so close to your family member will bring harm to you, will hinder the destiny that God has for you, will slow down your progress in life. Because when God wants to do something in your life, he has to align you to his will and his purpose. So he has to cut off stuff out of your life. He has to cut off people. He has to cut off things out of your life. So that's the story of my father, tells of my father, how the mango tree was cut off. I have that today, that when I think, when we talk about it with my brothers, that was one of the stories, how the mango tree was cut off for my sake. Because he knew I would climb it again. And probably he knew maybe I would not, but even my brothers would think, okay, if it's held her, there's not so much weight difference at that time. He knew this tree was not only a risk to his baby, but also to his sons. And that's how God is. We are his sons of God. So he'll protect us at every cost. So don't struggle to go after something that God, you can feel in your spirit that God has blocked from your life. So today is Saturday. Today, be encouraged. Stay in God's will. And listen to him. And if you see that person that you have connected, that best friend that you don't have anything interest together, don't worry about it. It could not even be for your sake, it could be for their sake too, because wherever God is going, God has plans for them, and you're not in that plan. So he will cut off something out of your life, some people out of your life. That's my story for today. How God cut off the mango tree. How my father cut off the mango tree, and how Jesus cast a fig tree because it had no fruit. Think about the risks that are in life. God cuts them and takes them out of our way. Become a child of God that he can protect you. When I look back now, I'm an adult. I know there are things even me as a mother I cut off from my children by prayer, by advice, even by taking them away from them because I think they are not good for them. That's the responsibility of a parent. So my father cut off the mango tree so that his baby will never climb it again, because it brought harm to me. And I want to tell you that mango tree was no joke. I still have a few scars from that episode, and you can imagine that's not funny. Some were deep. So thank you. God bless you for watching me. For those that came late, you can watch the program and just see. I was talking about my father, how he cut the mango tree. Thank you for Joshua, for Helen. Oh, for my nephew Felix, all the way in Kenya, for Lily Rose, for Prophet Godfrey Obeng, and Mwame Bedaiko. Thank you, Mame. Say hi to Prophet Elijah. We have a father in common. So we thank God. I'm going to end singing to you. I always told you I'll sing one song. Today I'm going to the song that is coming to my spirit, I'm just going to sing one stanza. It's so sweet to trust in Jesus. And sing along with me, just one stanza. It's so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word. just to stand upon his promise and declare, thou says the Lord. It's so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him at his word, just to stand upon his promise and declare, thou says the Lord. It is so sweet to trust in Jesus. He's my King, my God, my rock, my everything. Thank you. Share it with your friends. That is this day's tale of my father, how he cut off the mango tree. God bless you. I love you with the love of God. Shalom. Bye.